How would it feel to have a thriving fitness business and have the freedom to enjoy life at the fullest? Well, that is exactly what the Trainer Revenue Multiplier Show is going to give you. My name is Mathew Park. This is Jaime Filer.
Hey guys.
And we are here to serve.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Trainer Revenue Multiplier Show. As always, I am your host, Jaime Filer, and today we have one of our core team members, Isaac Miller, on the show to talk about TRM Kickstart, which is going to be his baby. It's actually version 2.0. He's completely revamped it, and we're really excited to hear about, I guess, why we needed the change in the first place, why we brought it back at all. So Isaac, tell me a little bit about how the conversation between you and Mathew happened let's backtrack. What the heck is TRM Kickstart? Why are we talking about TRM Kickstart?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for having me on here. I love being on this show and talking with one of my role models within TRM who I wouldn't be here without. So thank you, Jaime. And to get into Kickstart. So Kickstart was an offer from TRM in order to help people who were first establishing their coaching business. And so a lot of times it's like people who either work in a gym already, like corporate gym, and they're trying to get out on their own, or they're people who have dabbled in training before, but have kind of stuck in that like corporate space or stayed with their normal job. And so now they're like really ready to be like, no, I want to start, my fitness business. So that's where that need for Kickstart came from. And so one thing I noticed, and I thought it was a very effective program from the start, but it was like a almost condensed version of 10K.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. Like our 10K program, it creates industry leading professionals. But it can be overwhelming for someone who's first starting out. And the things that are focused on for someone who's first starting their coaching business is like completely different from someone who has it established and is ready to scale. And so with Prolific PT starting up around the same time that Mathew first talked to me about Kickstart, I realized a lot of my trainers who I have on staff were starting out. And so I already had SOPs and documentation of helping them establish their business with Prolific. And so I was like, oh, this is awesome. I can kind of take the same principles that I used to help them that I know works because I just saw it firsthand and put it into a curriculum for TRM. And so what we did is we took Kickstart and we just kind of reframed it in a way that is updated to real world application of starting a business. And so what I did is I took all of those things and found how it correlates to 10K and just made it almost a seamless transition. So whenever people go through Kickstart, they can seamlessly transition into 10K without dropping a beat. And that will allow them to go from just starting their business all the way to seeing financial freedom and accelerating their business and impacting lives in the most streamlined way possible.
I love that answer. So how did you determine what was enough to get them to have 10K be the next step, but not enough that they get overwhelmed the way people used to when coming into 10K before we even had Kickstart? What was your litmus test?
Yeah, I guess I would say I broke it down into phases, and I was thinking which phase is most important because one builds off the other. Sure. And so with that, I was like, okay, so how should we start? Well, we should start phase one should be systems. And in systems, we break down the very first thing, like we're breaking down your core offer, like something that we talk about in 10K often. And so we break down the core offer and then we explain what client experience is. Like our next thing is client experience and standard SOPs or standard operating procedures. And so what we do is after the core offer, we dive into what does this look like from the client's perspective? And then like if we can find a client's perspective of this that's really good, now we need to build it to where it's consistent. And that's where the SOPs comes in. And so we just start templating out SOPs. And then with systems, we go into a basics of like G drive and jot form, because that's something where like for me in particular, I was not a techie person at all. So going into 10K and having all these spreadsheets and databases and everything in G Drive, it blew my mind. I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I realized a lot more people resonate with me than with someone like Laurent, who can sit down in front of a G Drive and create a whole new system on his own that he could sell to Google and completely replace G Drive.
Sure.
Like that's Laurent. And so for me, I was like, okay, well now I feel like I should bring this into the curriculum to show them an optimized way of what G Drive works so they can build on it. And then phase 2, we go into the sales process. So again, we've got the core offer, we've got the system. So now we just need to take it to the next step. How can we deliver this to people? You know, so we go through building a database. We go through the consultation calls and we go through the follow-up, in which the consultation calls and follow-up is a lot in line with how we teach it in 10K, but 10K is just a little bit more advanced. We dive into a little bit more detail, but Kickstart is a really good intro to that. And then phase 3, we just go into social media, because now, you know, you've got your database, you're running through that. You obviously don't need social media for leads. We teach that, we preach that in 10K. Like, you do not need, and you should have other lead systems that aren't social media. Right. So after we establish all that, that's when we go into social media, where we talk about the marketing message and like your bio. And also, like, what is a call to action? How can we utilize this? And something as simple as like link trees to be able to give more value to your potential consumer or to the lead.
I love it. So out of curiosity, I know we talked a little bit about who Kickstart is for. Are there hard and fast rules, or not guidelines, hard and fast criteria for where you should be in your business when you come into Kickstart, and where I don't want to use the word expect, but where we'd like you to be by the time you graduate Kickstart?
Mm-hmm. So this is the cool thing about Kickstart, is that the criteria in terms of just being a trainer in general is like having a knowledge base of what it is that you're trying to serve. So are you certified as a trainer or nutritionist or anything like that? What are you serving? Which we break that down. But other than that, like, this is for the people trying to get their first like 8 to 10 clients.
Okay.
This is for the people who haven't done that yet, and they're trying to figure it out and navigate it. So our goal is to get you to your first, 8 to 10 clients, and to be able to manage it, have a system in place to be able to manage that. And from there, once you have 8 to 10 clients, you're seeing probably $2,000 to $4,000 a month in revenue. At that point, it's like, okay, you're ready. Let's get you into 10K. Yeah. And 10K, you're going to be able to, we call it 10K, though we know 10K is not actually a goal. It's more so being able to see growth and scale of the impact and financial freedom and saving time and optimizing. And a result of that always ends up being over 10K. And so we called it 10K because that gave us a good metric to go after, but it's everything else that, we're teaching and optimizing. So I would say the hard criteria is there is none. The hard criteria is like the ending. We need you to be at a certain place where we can send you to 10K and you're not going to fail it.
Yeah.
Because we didn't prepare you.
I love that. I love that. It's just enough of an answer. No, that is solid, Isaac. So let's talk about the structure and logistics. How frequently, how long do I see you live in a module like TRM 10K, or did you pre-record videos? Give me the layout of Kickstart.
Yeah. So Kickstart is 8 modules and it goes through those 3 phases, just like we laid out. Those 8 modules are all pre-recorded, so you can take that at your own pace. If you want to do one a week, that's fine. If you want to do one and just implement it, and once you're done and ready, then go on to the next one, that's perfectly great too. But what you do get is 2 coaching calls with me. So typically that'll be in the span of 2 months. You'll have like 1 coaching call a month. That way we can have enough time between calls to actually have you implement what it is we go over in the call. And the calls are a little bit more, I would say, not more in depth than 10K, because those coaching calls like with you are super in depth, but the needs are different. It's like, we're not trying to go into specifics to scale your business. We're trying to map it out in the first place.
Yeah.
And so that's the importance of the modules it's great that they're they're recorded, because you're not rushed. You can go through this process exactly how fast you need to, but the power is in the coaching calls, because that's where we're able to really dig in and actually build and establish your coaching business.
Yeah. And the truth is, I would say the same about 10K as well, right? The power is in the group coaching, where you get to ask your own individual question, and which other people might have. And then, of course, the one-to-one as well, because the question you have might just be slightly off from whatever was taught, and it would help to be geared specifically towards you.
Yep.
What would you say is the next evolution of Kickstart? Like where do you see it going?
Honestly, I have no idea. I love where it's at right now. Obviously, we're going to keep refining it, even the way we do 10K and everything else. You know, it's always being refined and always being optimized and made better for the clients and for the members. But that being said, our goal, and you know, I say my goal, but also I know Matthew's as well, is to create an atmosphere in TRM as a whole that allows people to come in and feel like they're a part of something that's bigger than themselves, while creating something themselves that's bigger. And so with that, it's like, we don't want people to just come to Kickstart and then leave. We don't want people to just come to 10K and then leave. We don't want people to just come to Elite or Platinum and then leave. We want people to come into 10K and learn and absolutely unlock their potential, and they see themselves from Kickstart to 10K and being a good 10K member, and that being a good 10K member, then they go into Platinum and Elite, and they're thriving in Platinum and Elite. And so we want people to have a whole lifetime, like a life cycle in TRM, where we can continue to help them foster and grow, and to be able to see someone go from, you know, maybe a little insecure, maybe a little scared, fearful of the journey they're about to go on, but yet just taking that leap of faith, you know, and jumping off the cliff anyway. And to be able to see them go from that to, you know, 6 years later, running a business with multiple employees, impacting people all over the world, but for them to have stayed in the TRM community that entire time, for us to be a part of that growth. And that is a chance for us to then be able to see an entire industry change from people that we're able to impact. And for me, Kickstart started from that mindset of being like, we want to change the entire industry. And it starts with planting the seed of helping people first realize that they can do this. They can start this business. And if we can start that fire the right way, just imagine what we could do.
Yeah. So it's very much the beginning of, you know, we could call it essentially cradle to grave. You stay in the TRM ecosystem, right? Because regardless of where you are in your business journey, we can help, but it helps to get you, honestly, from your infancy. And because TRM has such a unique way of doing things, heart-centered excellence, but of course, also nudge, nudge, we want you making 10K. Nothing we ever say in those stages, like you just mentioned, Isaac, we've got Kickstart, 10K, Platinum, and Elite, will ever be incongruent. Right? So you will be getting Matthew's vision from inception all the way through, like you just said, scaling, right? Let's say 6 or 7 figures, brick and mortar and online, many different employees, right? It's so, I guess, congruent is the best word. So obviously this was necessary. We had a couple semesters off of it, but I'm super, super glad it's back and that you're at the helm.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Is there anything else you would like to add? Anything else if someone's on the fence about doing this, or on the fence about whether it's Kickstart or 10K, or whether it's Kickstart or someone else's program altogether, what can we do to bring them home?
Well, I mean, I think what separates TRM in general, and what separates Mathew from, say, the other business coaching platforms in the fitness space, is the fact that, yes, we are, you know, trainer revenue multiplier, we are 10K, and, you know, we kind of have these metrics in place, but we're not going to necessarily tell you this is your way of getting this metric. Follow this path and you will see 10K. Do this and say this and act like this. And I've looked around at all those other coaching companies, and it's like they throw templates in your face, they throw scripts in your face, they say this is the bulletproof way. Okay, great, but what happens whenever the industry changes?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
happens when people don't care so much about six packs? They just want to have a dad bod and feel good. Like, what happens whenever kale smoothies aren't selling anymore? Or what happens when, and so we see all these templates, and Matthew was like, this isn't working. This isn't working. The only thing that will work is just being a good person and learning the fundamentals of business. And that's what Matthew really brought home with TRM in general was, there is no one perfect way, but there is an outline. There is a certain path that we can start to be curious and walk down. And as we go through that and learning the fundamentals of business in general, it's given us a space where trainers can genuinely evolve on their own and empower themselves to grow amazing companies, while getting the actual fundamental business coaching necessary to see long-term growth. And that's something that I haven't seen anyone else do. It's more so, here's your templates, here's how to talk and how to convey your message, go make money. Great.
Right.
That's sustainable for a few months, but eventually it wears out.
Yeah.
We have genuinely seen people go from being, trainers just struggling to make it to then having, brick and mortar studios with multiple trainers under them.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've only seen in TRM. I've only seen come from TRM people. And so if you're on the fence about it and wondering, like, is this something for me? It's, it just takes the faith of a mustard seed, and that can be one of the biggest trees. It's the same thing. Like, if you just bet on yourself, and Kickstart is a really good intro. And it's something that, is cost efficient for someone who's wanting to just get in and see if this is something they can do.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that being said, like, if you're just dabbling in it and you want something that might be a more cost-effective way to get the coaching and get your foot in the door to see if this is something that is for you, it's definitely worth the investment. And I can say that from personal experience as someone who was in, those shoes not too long ago, entering TRM, trying to completely restart my business, and going from someone who did primarily in person to doing all online was also a new, venture for me. So I got to see firsthand just how the TRM curriculum could completely unlock a whole new potential.
Right. I love that. I love that. So Isaac, if I may summarize, it sounds like what this program gives you is a framework versus a template.
Yes.
And it's the difference between teaching someone to fish and giving them fish.
Yep, exactly.
Amazing. Amazing, sir. I am so excited. Do you have an official launch date?
So we are launched. I've already got 4 people that are working with me.
Amazing.
But our official launch date, I would say, is August 7th.
Perfect.
That will be like an official launch date, August 7th. But we do have, like, I guess you would call a beta, like testers going through, and they're already giving feedback. Like, I already have some people messaging me like, hey, turned in the homework, like into the G Drive folder, like super excited. And so already seeing that impact happen, just with the people who are first going through and seeing it and kind of giving us feedback. It's been an amazing experience already. And it's literally just been like a couple days. So it's been really, really cool.
I love it. I love it. Isaac, thank you so much. I'm excited to see how it unfolds. And I think I'm most excited to see your babies in TRM, right? Like walk to me as toddlers.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, man, it's going to be super great. Excited to work alongside you, and let's just keep impacting people.
Let's do it. Let's have fun.
All right, guys, for those of you listening, thank you so much. Please make sure that if you have any questions, you go to the trainerrevenuemultiplier.com. You can also hit us up on Instagram if you have questions about Kickstart. You can also ask Isaac, what is your, what is the easiest or best way for people to get in touch with you?
Yeah, I mean, Instagram, my bio is my name is @the prolific professor. Or just email me, isaac@trainerrevenuemultiplier.com if you're interested in more info about this, and we can send you all the info you need.
Sweet. Thank you. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you like us, rate us, subscribe, share via Facebook or Instagram if you like what you heard. And we are so excited to see you in our ecosystem. Have an amazing rest of your day, everyone.